Yo, what's going on YouTube? We are back with another episode of TaylorMade Car Vlogs. Happy New Year. It is 2022. We are starting off this year on the very right note. As I was mentioning in the last video, I'm gonna try to start posting more stuff every single weekend, or at least try to start filming stuff every week, posting every weekend. But today we have a very, very special car review slash kind of like we're headed out to a car show type deal, but we have the 2019 BMW M5 competition that we are going to be reviewing today. As the title probably explains, is this car the ideal daily driver? Now, you have a bunch of different cars inside of this category as far as like comfortability, drivability, speed, and everything else that you're looking for inside of a daily driver space as well. But the BMW M5 is one of those vehicles that is really, really a benchmark for its price range, for what you can get for the vehicle. So we are going to be driving down to 424 today. I'm going to be giving some clips on the car as I'm headed down there and back, also showing a few things around the vehicle after the car show. So we're already a little late right now, so we're going to jump in the car and we're going to take off. This thing is so beautiful. These Volano forged wheels are just truly amazing. These are actually one-off wheels. Owner had these things custom made from Volano with the gray lips, or not the gray lips, but the chrome lips, the satin gray finish on the inside with the little cut inserts. I actually followed Volano like a while ago and wasn't too big of a fan of the wheels for these cars, but after seeing this thing, it definitely changed my mind. But these are probably the real only set that I've ever really liked. The sound of that twin turbo V8 inside of this car will literally never get old. This car does have a custom exhaust on it though, so it does make it sound a whole lot more throaty, but even this thing stock makes the crackles and pops from factory. I wish I could get some recording clips. I'm gonna try actually, just not while the car is driving. Actually last video when I drove the GT3 RS, I think I left my actual window mount inside of the trunk of that car. So today we're gonna have to be doing some handheld action with the camera. So, okay, driving the 2019 BMW M5 competition package. One thing I will say about this car is that this thing's active suspension is probably one of this car's best features. Even though the ride is kind of rough just because this thing is lowered and everything like that, I've driven plenty of these things stock and this thing is extremely daily drivable. So comfort in these captain chairs are super awesome too. These things really hug you. This definitely can be a very easy road trip car as well. Like I said, the suspension can be super soft. If you wanted to be in comfort mode, you can turn this thing into a normal 530 if you want to, or by simply tapping these M buttons that you see here on the steering wheel will turn this thing into an absolute track beast. Now this car is all-wheel drive, so if anything ever comes down to it and you want to have to try to race anybody from a stop or, you know, go to the track, this thing does gain traction very easily. And it also does have a drift mode per se, to where you can actually only use the rear wheels in this car. That way, if you want to do burnouts or go drifting, do power slides, whatever the case may be, that option is also there for you as well. One other thing I will say about this car is definitely the handling of the vehicle. M5, for how big this car is, this thing handles like an absolute dream. Now, there's not a whole lot of play in the wheel. You can basically turn this thing with your fingertips if you needed to. It's pretty forgiving, and like I said, if you want this thing to be comfort, you can. If you want it to be tight sports steering, you can. Everything on this car is super configurable. Like its competition in the E-Class AMG, or even the, I don't even know what would be comparable from Audi. I mean, I guess the RS6, A6, whatever the hell it is. But this car is pretty much best of everything that you can get. I'm trying not to make this a biased review just because lots of my viewers, you guys all know that I worked for BMW for such a long time. It's kind of hard not to give an unbiased opinion on this car, but honestly, this thing is probably one of the best bang for your buck vehicles. And that's not just me saying, but even like a bunch of people that own these cars or this vehicle's competition from Mercedes, Porsche, Audi, it doesn't really matter. They all pretty much come to a consensus that this car is going to be best choice for what you're looking for. We're pulling up the 424 right now. Meant to film this last time I was here, but didn't have as cool of a car. But it's a small little coffee shop here in Old Town Scottsdale, and it's pretty cool. As you can see, you have a Pagani Huayra BC Roadster just sitting on the side of the street. Pretty cool cars that show up here. So once I park, I'm gonna jump out and show you guys around. So mainly coming to 424. The initial plan this morning was to take another very special car. Hopefully I can get a hold of one of those soon. I was supposed to drive a GT2 RS this morning, but that whole plan kind of fell through. But 424 is mainly known for having Porsche cars here, but one of my favorite ones, actually a friend of mine in California just picked one up. This is a 997.2 GT3 RS. Now this car is super special in its own. This thing, they make a 4.0 variant of this model. I think this car has a 3.8 liter flat six engine inside of it, but this car with the red accents, the red wheels, this is one of the very few cars that's going to pull off multicolor wheels. I feel like these things in Subarus, the only thing it's kind of acceptable for, but this in this gray, I'm not a fan, but don't know the name of the color, but this is probably one of the more beautiful cars driving on the road. And they're so rare, you don't ever really see them. The 997.1 editions you do, but not these variants. I would definitely really like to get some photos of this thing on my Instagram page. Don't know who the owner is, but yeah, this thing is probably one of the more beautiful cars on the road, as well as these 718 Speedsters. These things look really cool. I'm a big fan of the chalk color, red brakes. That car looks very good. Normally these things do come with a more flatter back, but the Speedsters do have, anybody that knows Porsches will come with these two looking kind of humps on the back of the car that also look super duper nice. But big fan of both of these vehicles. Huge fan of these 992 911s. These cars have come such a long way from what they used to be. This car in this Miami blue colorway, this is actually the car color that turned me on to Porsches like a few years ago. I was at a Coffee and Cars event, and this thing like pulled up, or one of these, it was a 991 variant, but that thing pulled up, had the Miami blue colorway on it, and I've like never seen it before in my life. I'm assuming it's right when it came out, but saw that thing come across the parking lot and literally blew my mind. I was so impressed by it, and literally probably ever since that day, I've been into Porsche cars, like started doing my research, learning more about them. But yeah, this Miami blue, probably one of the more beautiful colors out there on the market. It just sucks that everybody's trying to get it now. And highlight of the whole show is the Pagani Huayra BC Roadster. Now this thing is a full carbon body monocoque, the entire car. I think this thing literally only weighs like maybe 3,200 pounds, and I might be shooting a little high or maybe a little low, but just depending on how, like, or you can see how huge this car is, that how light this thing is. This thing is powered by a V12 AMG motor, actually, by Mercedes-Benz. This car is, I believe, is like a, I don't know the exact number of them, but these are very limited edition. Don't see too many of them around. And even when I was in Monterey this past year, didn't see too many of these things driving down the street, but absolutely gorgeous. Look at all that carbon work, the pinstriping. This thing is probably a $2-3 million car, easy. So just left 424. I like that cool little coffee shop meet. Highline, as I went to in the last video, was just super loud environment, but that place is really cool. But back to driving the M5, kind of stuck in traffic right now. Well, not stuck in traffic, but we're at this crosswalk. This car also has immediate throttle response. Now, coming from my daily driver car, anything that I pretty much drive on this channel is going to be faster than what I have. That's even down to bicycles or skateboards. But this car, literally, there is close to zero lag in this vehicle, and this exhaust note on this thing just sounds so nice. Every time you hit the gas, the power is just immediately there, and then once the turbos start to pull on this thing, there's just literally nothing more rewarding than hearing this V8 roar. But this thing is also tuned as well, running a little bit over 700 horsepower, so that is also really nice. But the all-wheel drive also definitely makes this thing feel like the illusion that it's a whole lot faster than what it really is. And that enhances the driving experience, which is what this car is all about, is jumping in and really enjoying how great of a car BMW made this thing. It's truly mind-blowing. And the best part about this car, absolutely love the sound of that. Don't know how well this camera's going to pick this up, but you can hear, like, even when you let off the gas, this thing is just making the pops and the burbles. It's really nice. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking, that BMW fanboys are like, oh man, you know, burble tunes are cool, but like, I really don't like the sound of that stuff. Honestly, when that stuff happens, like, literally, if it's 4 or 5 pops, that's cool, but like, when you have one of those annoying burble tunes, man, it's not the move. We are back from 404 after driving. Was gonna try to go over some of the few of the interior qualities inside of this car. First off, looking at this beautiful steering wheel in this car, BMW definitely made these things look a whole lot more appealing to the eye. Also, I definitely like how this has changed to the digital display versus the analog that was there before. Now this thing does still have the dials on it. The newer cars is an entire completely digital display. I'm definitely going to try to find a new LCI BMW M5 to review, but this is the only one I had access to at the time being. But these M buttons are super cool too, these red ones, so you can always set these things up to configure however driving modes that you want to do, whether that be suspension, the steering, the throttle response, all that stuff. The M2 buttons are normally where you get it to the sport setting, and if your car does have either the stock exhaust, it has the valves, an aftermarket with valves, this is normally the button that you use to open up those valves, or if you guys of course have a switch for it. Center face is also really cool, iDrive screen and everything. It is also a cool feature. It's one of the more of the things that you have to show your buddies in the car, is that you can actually turn up and down. Well, it should be working, it's probably turned off right now, but you can literally take your finger, hold it above the shifter right here, and you can either turn it to the left to move the sound up, or turn to the right to move the sound up, sorry, or turn it to the left to move the sound down. You can like shoo away calls or bring in phone calls, which is also really cool. The seats in these are super nice. I love the cognac interior on the inside of this car. The seats, like I said, are just super comfortable. They also are heated and ventilated as well. They work super nice, and these things just really hug you when you are driving the car. Car is super spacious, so you got all the room in the world to have your friends come back. And also, this thing is just super fast, man. Like, you buy an M car for the speed, it's not really there for the comfort. Only thing that lots of people do complain about, I mean, obviously the brakes do squeal a lot. The thing is a freaking 2-ton sports sedan with 600 plus horsepower inside of it. But this car is definitely a great buy. If you're looking for anything that's going to be this size, this fast, quality build, reliability. Now this owner in particular has a bunch of cars, but doesn't really drive this one as much. Well, probably does, but either way, these M cars are more reliable than what you're going to have on your standard BMW 5 Series. M cars, you definitely do get what you pay for, as long as you know what you are getting yourself into, you know. So other than that, that'll put it into this video. I got some other stuff to do on this lovely Saturday, but if you guys like this review, definitely leave a comment, like the video, share with your friends. But I'm going to try to start banging out more of these videos like this for you guys in the future. I'm going to try to start posting once a week, or once every couple weeks. I got to start doing this more frequent so I can get some more traffic on the channel. But like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, leave comments down below. But until then, we'll see you guys next episode. Peace.